Hello everyone and welcome back to the FRC Historian. Today I have the wonderful job of looking through all of First's wonderful events in the week 3, the most of any week I'm pretty sure in FRC history. So first off I'm going to start off with the Israeli District number 4. But before that I want to tell you that I apologize for not doing this sooner. I'm working on a huge project that I hope you all enjoy, and so far I haven't seen anything in terms of responses to my last video. So I will link my last video to this. Please do that, because that's something I've always wanted to see. I have my own biases, everyone does, but I want to see what everyone's consensus is. So if you can, please respond to my last video, and let's hope we can get this to work. So first off, the Israeli District. So for those of you who didn't watch the last Israeli District, it was actually called, I want to say it was actually called Week 4. What happened was that we had some amazing Israeli teams there. And what happened was, for the first one, for the Israeli District number 4, 1690, Orbit, the first pick of OP in the 2016 World Championship, became the first ever Israeli team to make it to the World Finals. They actually lost in the semifinals against Team 1937. And for those of you who don't know 1937, they're Team Elysium, and they've been waiting since 2012 to get another banner, and they did as the captain, actually beating Team Bumblebee 33-39, a team who just got chairman's and winner at one of their districts, and this time they were stopped. Next up, I'm going to go on to the Orlando Regional, where Team 386 won the regional. Now, for those of you who have not watched the Orlando Regional, 179 Swamp Force is the only, I'm not sure if it's Swamp Force, but Team 179 is a team who I like to watch. Their team from Florida was really good, and they actually got in the semis to Team Voltage 386, who went a year without a banner in 2018, but now are back and better than ever. Next up, I'm going to talk about our next event, which is the Finger Lakes Regional in Rochester, New York. This was the other New York Regional, and Team 870 picked up a win with their partner 30-15 and 271 as the Rank 1 Alliance, with Team 120 Cleveland's team, a Hall of Fame team, making it into the finals as the second pick of the third alliance. Next up, in the Central New York Regional, which was actually a Week 1 regional last year, Team 2791 Shaker Robotics with their partners 195 and 395 easily took the regional against State Pulse 694. Now in Rocket City, Bomb Squad in 234 went up against 4451 and 364, and off of prior experience, almost a retelling of history, 4451 won the regional just like last time, and 16 lost the regional just like last time. So I'm looking forward to see Bomb Squad and 4451 as they go to the championship, where it'll be fun to watch them. Next up, we have the Heartland Regional in Kansas, where actually the fourth alliance won with Team 935 and 6907 and 5126 going on to win as the fourth, beating the second alliance in the finals. Next up, the St. Louis Regional, the site of the old championship, where the third alliance took it with teams 1501, 4500, 6391 against the first alliance, who lost in the finals. Next up, at the Great Northern, Team 5172, 3750, and 7048 won against the third alliance at 2502, 876, and 4239, whereas the second alliance got out in the semis. We had some powerful teams there who showed what they could really do. Next up, at the Regional de la Ciudad de Mexico, the 8th Alliance made it to the finals, and I was really disappointed as I wanted to see my first rank 8 Alliance win, where teams 7161, 4401, and 5716 became finalists to the third Alliance of 3478, 4775, and 5887. Next up, at the Arizona Regional, to no one's surprise, the Robonauts won the regional with assistance of 2478 and 5059 against the 7th Alliance. Had the Robonauts not been there, would there have been a difference? Maybe. We don't know that for sure. Next up, into the Peachtree District, Albany events. What happened here was that the first alliance at 832, 6829, and 7499 beat out the 7th alliance as well. So is there a connection here? Next up, center line. This was a fun district to watch up until a nail biter at the end where the second alliance of 51 and 2851 and Los Guerrillas won the first finals match against 33, 10-25, and 55-55. Second match, the Bees won, and then after Blue called a timeout, the Bees won the third one. It also got chairmans, securing their spot as rank 1 for now in the state of Michigan before states. Next up, in Detroit, 4680, the Flying Toasters and 2224 won against the third alliance at 2048, 123, and 7789, whereas the Hammerheads 226 got out in the semis as the second alliance captain. Next up, the First in Michigan Gull Lake event, where Team 35-38 and 51-52 took on 48-55, 33-57, and 68 and beat them in the finals, bringing the Comets, Trucktown Thunder, and 48-55 as finalists for this event. Next up in Muskegon, teams 35-72, 60-90, and 60-97 took on 4004, 35-46, 34-58 in the finals, whereas the first alliance became finalists to the third alliance of the aforementioned 4004, 35-46, and 34-58. One interesting thing to note, the seventh alliance did advance to the semifinals in this Muskegon event. Next up, onto the Ryerson event, where teams 5406, 188, and 7521 against the sixth alliance of 6878, 5719, and 6866, where, believe it or not, there was some defense played, allowing the sixth alliance to move on all the way to the finals. Next up in Kingsford, the first alliance of 3875, 4391, and 7020 lost to the third alliance of 65, 69, 245, and 1596, giving 245 of the Atom Bots the banner that they wanted to seek at Kettering Week 1. Next up onto the Texas Channelview event, where team 5892 and 624 and 3834 of the second alliance beat 5261, 1477, and 7494 in the finals of the event. Next up onto the Texas Plano event, teams 5431, 2714, and 4192 won in the finals against 6144, 4610, and 4364. Now back off to the Pacific Northwest Clackamas Academy event, where in Oregon the 7th Alliance won of 36-74, 36-73, those two picked each other, and 36-36. A lot of 36s in there, who won against 28-98, 68-45, and 40-60, becoming one of the only events where the 7th Alliance actually won. Now again in the Pacific Northwest, in the District Sun Dome event, where the first alliance won this one against the third alliance, with the first alliance consisting of 29-10, 58-3, and 29-26. Now we're going to go into LA, Los Angeles, where once again an 8th alliance made it to the finals but lost to the third alliance. Who knew? Where at 25-84, 691, 29-04, and their backup bot 70-42, who actually was caught in the quarterfinals, lost against 18-68, 68-03, and 26-59. Now, before I go to the San Francisco Regional, there was a record broken here, and me covering this is by no way showing any animosity towards any teams, nor do I condone any animosity towards any teams. I am just saying that there was a record broken, that being, and I'm going to analyze it, where last year, for those of you who did not know, 254 the Cheesy Poofs not only won all 3 events that they went to, but they also won every single match in the regular season of the year, and won everything up until their last off-season event. So in San Francisco, the Cheesy Poofs lost their first match after a streak of nearly 70 winning matches in the regular season. And what was interesting was it was due to a lot of defense being played and really showed the effectiveness of defense in this game. And teams 254 and 971 won this event with 5,700, and this was their 7th win together. Now they're only 11 away from OP and Symbiotic's record. I know they can do it. Next up onto the South Pacific Regional, where it was a 7th Alliance versus 5th Alliance, and the 7th Alliance actually had a backup bot which actually helped them win, which there are not many examples of a backup bot turning out great for the Alliance, as I talked about in my Michigan video. 6304, 6386, and 5584 won against the 5th Alliance 7433, 6579, and 3881. Noticeable, the Hall of Fame team 3132 of Australia got out in the semifinals against the 5th Alliance. Next up into the New England North Shore event, teams 4761, 95, and 5735 of the 1st Alliance won against the 7th Alliance at 7438, 3958, and 1073. As for the next CHS district, Owings Mills, Maryland event, the 2nd Alliance beat the 1st, consisting of 36-614, 37-48 against 21-99, 16-29, 29-88, and their backup bot 58-30. Next up, in the FNC District Gulliford event in North Carolina, the 1st Alliance won, consisting of 20-59, 60, 26-55, and 67-29, won against teams 47-95, 15-33, and 5-87 of the 2nd Alliance. Now back into New Hampshire and the New England districts, teams 133, 319, 885, and their backup bot 63-24 won against the 6th Alliance of 1922, 1729, and 1277. Team 319 showing off more of what they can do. Next to the FMA district of Bridgewater, Raritan event, Team 1676, the Pascack Pioneers, the 3rd pick of the Cheesy Poof and Strike Force Alliance of 2017, was rank 1 and picked teams 11 and 3340, and then ended up losing in the finals against 56-1403 and 4285. And the 1st Alliance did have the backup out of 5732 who helped them a lot, but in the end they could not win the event. Next up, in the Ontario District Georgian College, teams 1305, 4476, and 781 won against 1325, 4903, and 7664. This was surprising to me, knowing 1325's prowess in the past, but this is a new game, there are no robots, and there are greater strategies to exploit. Next to the FMA District Springside Chestnut Hill Academy event, trust me, we're almost done. The 5th Alliance and the 2nd Alliance duked it out with the 2nd Alliance winning. 2nd Alliance teams consisted of 5404, 2168, and 1495 against 1218, 2016, the Mighty Monkey Wrenches, as well as 486. Now finally, at the CHS District Portsmouth, Virginia event, the 2nd Alliance beat the 4th, and no, I'm not looking at the last one again, where 1599, 1610, and 6882 took on and beat 2106, 1413, and 5546. So, thank you all for listening to this. I'm very glad that you bared with me. And now, since we're at the end of this, thank you anyone who's made it this far. I really do apologize for how long I made this. But I will say that if you're wondering what to do now, based off week 3 had some amazing defensive plays with some records broken, as well as many teams winning their first banners of the year or in several years. So I'd say mainly defense. There's also a discovery that I found was that you want to place null hatches on the sides, but in the front you don't, because if you place the hatch panels on during teleoperated mode, you get points for both the cargo and the hatches. So what I'd say is put the null hatches on the sides, and then on the front, get 2 robots to place a hatch panel, which gives you more points than the null hatches do. Which really did start to add up in the end of it. There are many upsets, and what I'd say is try your hardest. It's not impossible to win. As we saw, the 6th, 7th seeds both won. It's not impossible as an 8th seed. I have not seen it happen yet, but I really do. If it's your team, I really want to see it happen. So thank you all for listening. Please take part in my top 10 of any district survey, as well as share it with anyone that you know who might be interested, as unlike me giving my own biased take on the top 10s everywhere, I would really love it if I heard your opinions. Then I can look it over and make a community-based one. Thank you.